Welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here because today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to step directly into history. Seriously, I want you to completely clear your mind of your modern morning routine. We are stepping way back in time to experience a day in the life of a Viking. Let's head straight to the freezing cold coast of Scandinavia, right around the year AD 900. So, picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning, but you're not in your comfortable bed. You're in a Viking village. The real question is, would you actually survive the day? We constantly think of Vikings as these invincible warriors from the history books, but their everyday survival, it was an unbelievable test of endurance, skill, and sheer grit. To really answer that question, we have to look past the Hollywood legends and step into their actual shoes. Let's see what your day would genuinely look like. All right, Section 1, Dawn in the Longhouse, waking up in AD 900. Okay, let's set this in. Imagine waking up way before the sun even thinks about rising. The air, it's crisp, it's biting, it's absolutely freezing. And there are definitely no alarm clocks gently chiming on your nightstand. Instead, you're waking up to the bleating of sheep, the crowing of roosters, and that incredibly distinct, curling smell of wood smoke drifting right down from the roof. That crackling fire that's been carefully tended through the night, that is your only source of warmth. You see, you aren't in a private bedroom. You are in a massive wooden longhouse. And you definitely aren't alone. Your entire extended family lives together right here in this one single communal space. Every single aspect of your survival is shared. There's literally zero privacy. But man, there's an incredible sense of community and shared warmth. Section 2. The morning grind. Everyone has work to do. As your day kicks off inside that longhouse, the harsh reality of Viking chores sets in immediately. There is no such thing as a lazy Sunday morning here. Your family is basically a highly efficient economic unit, and kids, well, they don't go to school. They learn strictly by working right alongside their parents. The father starts his morning by sharpening his axe, getting ready to head out to the grueling work of the fields or braving the rough sea. Meanwhile, the mother is already knee-deep in the physically exhausting work of grinding grain into flour, baking bread, and weaving wool to protect everyone against that brutal Scandinavian climate. And the children are right there in the mix. The boys are actively practicing fishing, farming, or blacksmithing, while the girls are learning how to cook, weave, and care for the essential livestock. Every single person pulls their weight for the family's survival. Moving on to Section 3. What Vikings actually ate. A breakfast built for survival. So after all that early morning manual labor, you are going to need some serious fuel. But if you're expecting avocado toast or a light modern breakfast, you're in for a massive shock. Viking food was heavily preserved and strictly utilitarian. It was designed to sustain the village through backbreaking labor and impossibly long winters. Your morning routine means forcing down a bowl of incredibly thick barley porridge and chewing on heavily salted, leathery dried fish. Why? Just to ensure you have the caloric energy to swing an axe or row a boat for the next 12 hours. Actually, forget about fresh fruit. It's exceptionally rare, especially in winter. So families have to preserve their food months in advance, right alongside dense bread, cheese, and smoked meat. It is a breakfast entirely built for survival, not luxury. Section 4. Farmers, not just fighters. The truth about Viking society. Okay, now that we're fueled up and stepping out of the longhouse, it is time to shatter a massive historical myth. When we hear the word Viking, our minds almost instantly jump to this monolithic image of bloodthirsty raiders with axes, right? But the reality of your day-to-day life in this village tells a totally different story. Most Vikings were actually farmers, fishermen, traders, and highly skilled craftsmen. If you woke up here during the spring or summer, you wouldn't be jumping on a boat to attack a monastery. No way. You'd be incredibly busy planting crops like barley, oats, and rye. You'd be raising cattle and sheep, fixing up your boats, or meticulously trading goods like furs, amber, iron, and beautifully carved wood. Yes, for sure, some definitely joined raids for wealth and adventure, but the vast majority, they were just busy keeping the village fed and functioning. Section 5. Masterpieces of the Sea. The Viking Longship. Whether you are a trader, a fisherman, or an explorer, the absolute pride and joy of your village was sitting right down there in the harbor. Built from oak, often with an intimidating dragon carved right onto the bow, the longship's true brilliance was its engineering. It was a vessel fast enough to cross massive, turbulent oceans, yet, and this is the genius part, shallow enough to travel far up inland rivers. This specific dual capability, it was a total game changer. It unlocked the entire world for them, allowing them to trade, explore, and expand far beyond their own icy shores. And man, those incredible ships took them staggering distances. They didn't just stick to local coastlines. They crossed the turbulent sea to Britain. They forged onward to discover and settle Iceland. They pushed even further into the freezing waters to reach Greenland. And amazingly, get this, these wooden open-air ships carried the Vikings all the way to North America, centuries before Christopher Columbus ever set sail. It is just an absolute masterclass in navigation and bravery. Section 6. Tales Around the Fire. Evening falls in the village. So, after a long, totally exhausting day of farming, crafting, or sailing, the crisp air turns freezing again. The entire village heads back inside, returning to the comforting warmth of that banked fire in the center of the longhouse. This is where the magic of Viking culture really comes alive. Imagine this incredibly intimate atmosphere. The room is filled with the smell of roasting food as the family finally sits down to feast. Someone is gently playing a stringed instrument called a lyre. The air is filled with laughter, and you're listening to elders passing down generations of oral legends in the flickering firelight. Tales of brave explorers, legendary heroes, and mighty gods like Odin and Thor. This is exactly how they remembered their history and honored their gods. As darkness completely blankets the village, the fire is banked down to a glowing ember for the night. You and your family huddle together beneath thick, heavy wool blankets. And you fall asleep knowing that tomorrow is going to bring more hard work, dangerous seas, and probably some new adventures. It is a continuous, deeply demanding cycle of labor, community, and craftsmanship. Life in the Viking Age was undeniably harsh, but it was also filled with profound courage and a deep, deep connection to family. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. The legendary warriors with their swords and shields are almost always the ones remembered in our history books. But what about the rest of them? Are the everyday people who farmed, built, and explored the true foundation of this remarkable civilization? Think about it. It was the mothers weaving wool, the fathers planting barley, the craftsmen building those brilliant oak ships. These everyday workers were the ones who truly kept this society alive and pushing into the unknown. Definitely something to chew on the next time you hear the word Viking. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past, and I really hope this leaves you wanting to learn even more about the real people behind the legends.